Hey folks, I'm going to be doing a short four-part series here on discussing the coming together of psychedelics and technology, the way I see that playing out in our culture currently, the way it's played out in the past, and how that might emerge into the future. So, I think one of the fundamental issues here is that we really need in our culture for there to be an authentic Western mystical tradition. And the unique thing about living in the United States in particular, but the West in general, is that we are culturally a melting pot. We bring together all of these different traditions and create something that is uniquely our own. And for myself, anyway, I find I know a lot of people, as some of these traditions, the psychedelic traditions, are coming in from the South, they find a deeper authenticity to be in going to the source of those, going to South America on these hikes into the Amazon or what have you. For me, I find that what feels authentic to me is the integration into my culture. And my culture is a Western culture. And that's happening today in a lot of different ways, which I think is really beautiful and exciting. We have regular, easy to access and legal ayahuasca ceremonies, for one. We have ongoing research happening at Johns Hopkins University and other places into psilocybin especially. There's some really interesting research on psilocybin used for end-of-life treatment that we have really, really good evidence right now that shows people end-of-life taking high doses of psilocybin to give themselves an experience, and through that experience, they relieve a lot of the pressure and fear that our culture, people in our culture experience at end of life, and a lot of depression as well, just removed in one dosage. So the Western machine of science is beginning to play with contemporary psychedelics. The organization MAPS, which is the Multidisciplinary Association of Psychedelic Studies, they're doing some really cool stuff on leading a pathway forward for the legalization of psychedelics. So it's a really exciting moment right now to be an American, because we have this incredible machine that our ancestors have built, integrating technology, integrating modern economics and capitalism, integrating, you just look at our culture, and it's amazing. And it's also amazing in its excesses. And what I get really excited about is wondering what happens when we have this amazing culture and it gets infused with the revelations that are possible with psychedelics. So one of the questions that I like to ask myself, and also ask the world, is what do we, as Westerners, as Americans, bring to the mystical tradition that is uniquely our own, so that we don't have to go into someone else's tradition and sort of like root out the spiritual authenticity there and eat it like it's ours and that it's not really ours. What is the authentically Western spiritual tradition? What is the authentically Western psychedelic tradition? And we're just beginning to see that. I think something that's really important to look at, though, as we ask this question, what is the authentically Western psychedelic tradition that is emerging, is it's important to look at technology, because technology is it's part of the human experience, but we as Americans have a particular love-hate relationship with technology. So Yuval Harari, in his books *Sapiens* and *Homo Deus*, both of which I highly recommend to have some sort of understanding of the thing that's happening right now, he says that if you want to understand a culture, humans have a unique capacity for cognitive dissonance. We sometimes look at cognitive dissonance and say, oh, that says there's something wrong happening here. You can't hold this and hold this at the same time. But the truth is we do hold two opposite tension beliefs at the same time, and it's our ability to hold that's really unique. So we have this tension with technology. We love technology, and we love what it allows us to do, but we hate technology. We hate how it takes us away from our lives. So how is our relationship with technology going to be informed by psychedelics? Jeffrey Martin, in his Finder's course, which is a an intense meditation course that's becoming quite popular. He started integrating biosensor technologies into meditation education, and I imagine biosensor technologies are going to play a role in this thing that's emerging in the contemporary Western psychedelic conversation. Okay, so another cognitive dissonance that we hold in our culture that's really alive right now, you just have to look, at the political landscape, is this pull between free market economics and more egalitarian economics, and there's so much tension in this space, and there seems to be a lot of hatred in that space as well. But again, I see that as that cognitive dissonance that our culture can hold as just an expression of who we are. We are at the space that is juggling those things. So what happens when these incredibly, I have a friend who describes psychedelics as high magic. They are. These high magic substances come into the mainstream culture and participate in this economic conversation. What is the free market capitalistic expression of psychedelics in our culture going to look like? And what is the egalitarian socialistic expression of those going to look like? I don't have any answers to those, but I think it's important to look at. Okay, so I'm going to be doing this every week for a little bit. Please drop your questions below, and I'll take some time at the end of the next video to answer them. Next week, I'm going to be talking about how is it possible for psychedelics and technology. Technology is my particular interest. How is it possible for psychedelics and technology and psychedelics and Western economics to play together, and where that's happening right now? See you next week. Thank you.